She's harmless. You'll barely know she's there. Alpha Garrett Cole said it as though he were discussing a piece of furniture. Lillian Harper kept her eyes lowered. Snow drifted through the open courtyard of Greyhaven Fortress, collecting on the shoulders of her faded blue cloak and melting into the long honey-blonde strands that framed her face. Around her, armed wolves from 2 kingdoms stood beneath opposing banners, hands resting near sword hilts, while winter wind hissed through the ancient stone battlements. Across the courtyard waited the man she had been exchanged to marry. King Adrian Blackwood, the Wolf King. Lily had heard stories about him since childhood. Some claimed he had torn apart 3 rogue alphas during the Battle of Hollow Creek. Others whispered that his wolf was so powerful lesser wolves could barely remain standing when he shifted. Stories exaggerated. Usually. Adrian himself did not need them. He stood beneath a black banner embroidered with a silver wolf, tall and broad-shouldered beneath dark medieval armor. A fur-lined cloak hung behind him. Thick black hair moved slightly in the wind, and his silver-gray eyes remained fixed on Garrett. Not Lily. That should have relieved her. It did not. The Eastern Passage remains neutral, Garrett said, extending the treaty. Hale and Cole territories withdraw their claims. In exchange, the marriage binds Blackwood to the agreement. Adrian accepted the parchment but did not read it. And her? Garrett glanced at Lily. My ward. Lily almost smiled. Ward. That was a beautiful word for prisoner. She understands what is expected. Adrian finally looked at her. Lily felt it immediately. Not hunger. Not contempt. Assessment. That was worse. She softened her shoulders. Relaxed her hands. Lowered her chin. Harmless. She had practiced harmless for 2 years. Adrian approached. Every instinct inside Lily began counting. 6 Blackwood guards near the gate. 4 archers above. 2 horses behind Adrian. The nearest sword was 11 feet away. The western wall had old mortar around the 3rd stone from the drainage channel. Stop. She forced herself to notice something useless instead. Snow. Cold. Wedding bells somewhere beyond the fortress. Things brides noticed. Not hunters. Lillian Harper? Adrian's voice was deep but surprisingly calm. Yes, Your Majesty. You agreed to this marriage? Garrett answered immediately. She understands her duty. Adrian's gaze remained on Lily. I asked her. Silence moved across the courtyard. Garrett's jaw tightened. Lily could feel the warning without looking at him. Say the correct thing. She had become very good at correct things. I understand the agreement. Adrian watched her for another moment. That wasn't what I asked. Dangerous man. Not because he was cruel. Because he listened. Lily lowered her gaze further. My answer changes nothing. Something shifted behind Adrian's eyes. Before he could respond, Garrett laughed. She's nervous. Omegas often are around powerful alphas. Lily said nothing. Garrett stepped closer and adjusted her cloak as though performing affection for witnesses. His fingers tightened briefly against her shoulder. Behave, he whispered. Then, softer, if he discovers what you really are, pray he kills you before he learns how useful you can be. Cold moved through Lily that had nothing to do with snow. Garrett stepped away smiling. Adrian had not heard. Good. Lily wanted those words buried with everything else. A Blackwood soldier approached carrying a heavier cloak. For the journey, my lady. Lily nodded. Thank you. He stepped behind her. His hand touched her shoulder. Her body moved. She caught his wrist. Turned. One step placed her beneath his center of balance. Another half movement and his elbow would have locked. A little more pressure and the soldier would have been on his knees. Lily froze. The entire courtyard seemed to freeze with her. She released him. Immediately. I'm sorry. The soldier stared at his wrist. Lily forced her breathing to become uneven. He startled me. Garrett's face had gone pale. Only for a second. Then anger replaced it. Adrian had seen everything. Lily knew because when she looked toward him, his silver-gray eyes were no longer studying her face. They were studying her feet. Her stance. Damn it. She shifted her weight awkwardly. Too late. You have quick reflexes, Adrian said. My father frightened me from behind when I was little. It was not entirely a lie. Her father had done much worse. Adrian glanced at the soldier. The man was nearly twice Lily's weight. Then back at her. Apparently he was very frightening. A few Blackwood warriors hid smiles. Garrett did not. The treaty was sealed before sunset. No ceremony. No celebration. Just signatures, witnesses, and a young woman becoming part of an agreement she had never written. When Garrett prepared to leave, Lily stood beside the Blackwood horses. She waited for him to say goodbye. She hated herself for waiting. Garrett mounted without looking at her. Then he paused. For one terrible second, Lily thought he might expose her. Instead, he said to Adrian, "She won't cause trouble." Adrian's gaze moved to Lily. "No," Garrett smiled. "She wouldn't know how." Lily kept her expression empty. Garrett rode through the gates. She watched until the forest swallowed him. Something inside her should have broken. Nothing did. Perhaps abandonment stopped hurting when it happened often enough. A black mare was brought forward. Lily approached from the left, checked the animal's eyes, then automatically ran 2 fingers beneath the girth. Secure. She tested the stirrup. Military saddle. Adjusted 1 strap. Then stopped. Adrian was watching again. Lily let her hands fall. Is something wrong? No, he mounted his stallion. But his expression said otherwise. The Blackwood party departed as dusk turned the snow blue. Lily rode quietly among them. She did not look toward the tree line. She did not study tracks. She did not listen for the difference between wind-moving branches and boots disturbing frozen brush. She especially did not think about the old hunting trails leading toward Blackwood territory. Those belonged to another life. To another name. A name spoken around border fires when villagers believed something dangerous was hunting the things that hunted them. Silver Wraith. Dead. It needed to remain dead. Ahead, Adrian turned once in his saddle. His eyes found Lily. She gave him the small, uncertain smile expected from a frightened bride. He faced forward again. Lily released a careful breath. One day. She only needed to survive one day at a time. Never show how she watched. Never reveal what she knew. Never let the Wolf King discover why Garrett Cole had truly been so eager to exchange her. Because Lily had learned the cruelest lesson of her life long before becoming Adrian Blackwood's bride. People did not fear her most when they discovered she could kill. They feared her when they realized how useful she could be. And useful things were rarely allowed to belong to themselves. Your bride knows which windows an assassin would choose. Adrian Blackwood said it without looking at Lily. Her spoon stopped halfway to her mouth. Morning light poured through the high windows of Blackwood Castle's dining chamber, pale and cold against the long oak table. Beyond the glass, snow covered the mountains in endless white. Lily slowly lowered her spoon. I was admiring the view. Adrian lifted his cup. For 12 minutes? She looked at him. He sat at the opposite end of the table in a black tunic embroidered with silver thread, looking considerably less terrifying without armor. Unfortunately, his eyes were just as observant. It's a beautiful view. The eastern courtyard? Yes. The armory roof? Very beautiful. One corner of Adrian's mouth moved. Lily immediately disliked that. She had been inside Blackwood Castle for less than a day. Already, she had made mistakes. She had counted the guards outside her chamber, checked whether her bedroom window opened far enough for escape, noticed that the servant staircase connected directly to the western courtyard. And now she had spent breakfast studying the roofline opposite the dining hall. Not because she expected an assassin. Because she could not stop herself. Old habits survived longer than old names. A servant entered carrying fresh bread. Lily thanked her. The woman hesitated. Most noble Omegas probably did not thank servants. Another mistake. Adrian noticed that too. He seemed to notice everything. Lily tore a small piece of bread. You're staring. I'm thinking. About me. Yes. At least he was honest. That seems dangerous. For whom? Lily almost smiled. Instead, she ate. After breakfast, an elderly housekeeper named Margaret showed her through the castle. Blackwood was enormous, but practical. No unnecessary gold. No polished marble halls built only to impress visitors. Stone, oak, iron. Everything seemed designed to survive siege, winter, or both. Lily liked it immediately. That worried her. This is the southern gallery, Margaret explained. The royal chambers are above us. Kitchens below. Lily glanced toward a narrow doorway. And that? Storage. No, Margaret blinked. Lily cursed herself. Pardon. Lily looked at the hinges. The door opened outward. Heavy iron reinforcement crossed the frame. There were scratches near the floor from frequent boots. Nothing. Margaret smiled. That leads to the guard passage. Of course it did. Lily smiled weakly. I guessed. From the gallery above, Adrian watched her. She did not notice. That bothered him. Most people sensed an alpha king watching them. Lillian Harper apparently sensed everything except when she was being observed. Or perhaps she knew and had chosen not to acknowledge him. Adrian was beginning to suspect the second possibility. By midday, Lily had escaped the tour. She found the kitchens. Warmth hit her first. Then bread. Roasted onions. Rosemary. Thyme. Something bitter. Lily stopped. A young kitchen maid carried a wooden bowl toward a preparation table. Wait. The girl froze. My lady. Lily approached. Green leaves rested inside the bowl. Parsley. Winter mint. And where did you get these? The garden store. Don't use them. The cook turned. Is something wrong? Lily picked up one leaf. Dark veins. Serrated edge. Her stomach tightened. Night root. Silence. The cook stared. That's impossible. It grows beside winter mint. Lily smelled the leaf. Boiling hides the bitterness. The kitchen became very quiet. Then a familiar voice came from behind her. And what happens if someone eats it? Lily closed her eyes briefly. Adrian. Of course. She turned. He stood in the doorway. Stomach pain. How much? It depends. On? Body weight. Adrian's gaze sharpened. Lily realized she had answered too quickly. She placed the leaf down. My mother taught me herbs. Your mother sounds increasingly interesting. Lily smiled politely. You never met her. No, Adrian looked at the nightroot. But I'm beginning to feel undereducated. He ordered the entire herb supply inspected. Lily left before he could ask another question. Her next mistake happened in the training yard. Steel rang beneath the afternoon sky. Blackwood warriors practiced between stone walls while Lily crossed the covered walkway. She should have kept walking. She did not. A young soldier attacked his instructor. Wrong foot. Lily winced. The instructor knocked him backward. Again. Same mistake. Lily whispered, Stop leading with your shoulder. The soldier attacked. Failed. Your shoulder tells him everything. Does it? Adrian stood beside her. Lily nearly jumped. This time genuinely. He looked pleased. You can be surprised. Apparently. The young soldier attacked again. His shoulder dropped. The instructor blocked easily. Adrian looked at Lily. You were right. Lucky. That word seems popular among mysterious brides. I'm not mysterious. No, a training sword suddenly slipped from a rack behind them. Lily heard the scrape. Her hand moved. She caught the wooden weapon before it hit the ground. Perfectly centered on the grip. Silence. Lily stared at her own hand. Then slowly placed the sword back. Adrian's eyes dropped to her fingers. I suppose that was luck too. Yes. You have extraordinary luck. I've been told. She walked away. Adrian watched her until she disappeared inside the castle. That evening, Lily entered the great hall for dinner. She chose the chair nearest the wall. Without thinking. Again. Adrian sat beside her this time. Not across from her. Lily became painfully aware of his presence. Why here? He asked. What? This chair. It was empty. So were 17 others. Lily looked around. Damn him. I like this one. Because nobody can approach from behind? Her pulse skipped. Adrian leaned back casually. He was not accusing her. That made it worse. You know poisonous plants. My mother. You understand sword technique. My father. You catch falling weapons. Luck. You identify guard passages. Lily looked at him sharply. There it was. He had been watching. Adrian lowered his voice. And yesterday, one of my strongest soldiers touched your shoulder and nearly ended up on the ground. He startled me. Yes. Adrian studied her. Lily forced herself not to look away. Finally, he lifted his whine. Garrett told me you were harmless. Cold touched her spine. I am. Adrian took one slow drink. Then his silver gray eyes met hers. No, Lillian. His voice was almost gentle. You're pretending to be. For one heartbeat, Lily forgot how to breathe. Adrian stood. He did not demand an explanation. He did not call guards. He simply walked away. That frightened her more than interrogation would have. Because questions could be answered with lies. Suspicion could be redirected. But patience? Patience watched. Patience waited. And as Lily sat alone beneath the candlelight, she realized the Wolf King had stopped wondering whether his new bride was hiding something. Now he was only waiting to discover what. Garrett wants his hunter buried for good. The words reached Lily before the blade did. She woke with darkness pressing against her chamber windows and a stranger standing beside her bed. For half a heartbeat, she did not move. Moonlight slipped through the curtains, catching the narrow edge of the knife in his hand. Masked. Male. Heavy boots. Left shoulder slightly lower. Old injury. Lily counted everything before fear could arrive. Then the meaning of his words settled inside her. His hunter. Garrett. Someone new. The stranger stepped closer. You should have stayed where he put you. Lily pushed herself backward against the headboard, letting her breath tremble. What do you want? The man laughed softly. Still pretending? Her stomach tightened. She glanced toward the door. Too far. A bell cord hung beside the fireplace. Closer. But pulling it would bring guards. Guards would see. Adrian would see. The attacker tilted his head. Silver Wraith. The name struck harder than any blade. Lily had not heard it spoken aloud in 2 years. She had almost convinced herself that woman no longer existed. Almost. I don't know what you're talking about. You never were a convincing liar. He lunged. Lily moved. Her bare feet touched the cold floor. She slipped inside the knife's arc, caught his wrist with both hands, and redirected the blade past her ribs. He was stronger. She expected that. Strength was predictable. Momentum was useful. Lily turned beneath his arm and drove his wrist against the bedpost. The knife dropped. He recovered faster than she expected. His fist struck her shoulder. Pain flashed down her arm. Lily stumbled into the table. A ceramic pitcher shattered. Good. Noise. The attacker came again. She kicked the fallen knife beneath the bed. He grabbed her hair. Wrong choice. Lily stepped backward instead of resisting. His balance shifted forward. She trapped his thumb, twisted his wrist, and drove her elbow into his chest. He staggered. You little. Lily caught the wooden chair between them and shoved it toward him. He knocked it aside. Too easily. He was trained. Not a common assassin. That frightened her. Not because she could not defeat him. Because Garrett had sent someone who might survive long enough to talk. The man reached inside his coat. Second blade. Of course. Lily backed toward the fireplace. Who else knows? He smiled. There she is. Lily's frightened expression vanished. The assassin saw it. For the first time, he hesitated. Not long enough. He attacked. Lily caught his forearm with the iron fireplace poker, forcing the knife away from her body. She stepped across his stance and struck behind his knee. He dropped. She twisted the weapon free. Now Lily held the knife. The room changed. So did she. The attacker looked up. Recognition entered his eyes. You really are. Lily stopped the blade against his throat. Who else knows? Footsteps thundered somewhere beyond the corridor. Blackwood guards. The assassin heard them too. His smile returned. Too late. He reached suddenly toward his boot. Lily saw the movement. Hidden weapon. She trapped his arm, turned behind him, and forced him face down onto the carpet. He struggled. She increased pressure. Not enough to break the shoulder. Enough to make resistance useless. Who sent you? You know. Say it. The footsteps reached her door. The assassin left. Garrett wants his hunter buried for good. The door burst open. Adrian entered with a sword in his hand. 3 Blackwood guards followed. Nobody moved. Lily looked down. She was kneeling on the back of an armed intruder. One hand controlled his wrist. The other held his knife. Her honey-blonde hair hung loose around her face. Her nightdress was torn slightly at one shoulder. Nothing about the scene looked harmless. Adrian's silver-gray eyes moved from the attacker to Lily, then to the knife. Lily released it as though it had burned her. The weapon struck the carpet. She stood. He attacked me. Adrian looked at the man. I gathered that. 2 guards restrained the assassin. Adrian surveyed the chamber. Broken pitcher. Overturned table. Damaged chair. Knife beneath the bed. Another beside Lily's feet. Then he looked at her. Who stopped him? Lily's mind went blank. She looked toward the broken chair. He fell. Silence. One guard lowered his head. Adrian blinked once. He fell. Yes. Twice. Lily swallowed. He was very unlucky. The corner of Adrian's mouth almost moved. Almost. Then the assassin laughed from the floor. Adrian's expression hardened. Take him below. The guards dragged the man into the corridor. Lily watched carefully. Too carefully. Adrian noticed. When the door closed, they were alone. Lily folded her arms across herself. Adrian removed his cloak. He approached, then stopped several feet away. May I? Lily looked at the cloak. She nodded. He placed it around her shoulders without touching more than necessary. The warmth surprised her. So did the question. Garrett had never asked before touching her. Adrian stepped back. You're hurt. Bruised. Where? Shoulder. Anything else? No, he believed that answer. Unfortunately, he believed nothing else. Adrian crouched beside the broken chair. His fingers touched one leg. Then the floor. He studied the distance between the bed and fireplace. Lily's pulse began climbing. What are you doing? Watching a man fall. She stared at him. Adrian pointed toward the bedpost. He struck this first. Lily said nothing. Then the table. Silence. The chair broke sideways. He stood. And somehow, during this extraordinary sequence of accidents, both of his knives ended up away from his hands. Lily tightened the cloak. Perhaps you should build safer furniture. Adrian looked at her. For one impossible second, amusement warmed his face. Then it vanished. He came for you. Yes. Not me. I don't know. He passed the royal chambers to reach yours. Lily had no answer. Adrian stepped closer. What did he call you? Her heartbeat stopped. You heard. Enough. Lily looked toward the window. Snow had begun falling again. People say strange things when they're losing fights with furniture. Lillian. She hated how gently he said her name. Commands were easier. Anger was easier. Gentleness made defenses difficult to hold. I don't know why he came. Adrian studied her face. That is a lie. Lily met his eyes. Then why ask? The question landed between them. Adrian did not become angry. He simply nodded. Fair. He walked toward the door. Lily stared after him. That's it. Adrian stopped. For tonight. You're not going to demand answers? No, suspicion tightened inside her. Why? He looked over his shoulder. Because frightened people lie to escape punishment. His gaze moved briefly toward the broken chair. But people who are given time eventually decide whether they trust you. Lily could not speak. Adrian opened the door. 2 guards will remain outside. I don't need protection. His eyes returned to the wrecked chamber. That much is becoming embarrassingly clear. He left. Lily closed the door. Only then did her knees weaken. She crossed to the window and pressed both hands against the cold stone. Garrett knew where she was. Someone had spoken the name Silver Wraith. And Adrian had heard enough to understand that his quiet new bride was connected to something dangerous. Outside the chamber, Adrian paused beside his waiting guards. He looked at the assassin being dragged toward the stairs. Then back at Lily's closed door. Yesterday, Lillian Harper had known poison, sword technique, guard passages, and how to catch a falling weapon. Tonight, an armed killer had entered her room. The killer had lost. Adrian no longer wondered whether Garrett had lied about his bride. He wondered why a man powerful enough to trade her away had been so desperate to convince everyone she was harmless. Inside the chamber, Lily closed her eyes. The secret she had protected for 2 years had survived another night. Barely. And for the first time since arriving at Blackwood Castle, she understood the true danger was no longer that the Wolf King might discover what she had been. It was that Adrian Blackwood was patient enough to discover why she had needed to hide it. You know this weapon. Adrian placed the hunting blade on the table between them. Lily forgot to breathe. Rain traced the narrow windows of the Wolf King's private study, turning the mountains beyond Blackwood Castle into gray shadows. Cedar burned quietly in the fireplace, but the room suddenly felt colder. The blade was old, narrow, built for speed. Dark leather wrapped the handle, worn smooth where fingers had gripped it thousands of times. Lily knew every mark. The shallow scratch near the guard. The repaired stitching. The tiny silver crescent carved into the pommel. Silver Wraith. Her blade. She had lost it 2 years ago. Adrian watched her from across the table. Lily forced her gaze upward. I've never seen it before. His expression did not change. That was quick. What was? The lie. Her pulse kicked. Adrian sat back. You didn't examine the crest. Lily said nothing. You didn't ask where I found it. Still nothing. You looked at the grip. Lily folded her hands beneath the table. My eyes wandered. Very precisely. She stood. If this is an interrogation, it isn't. Then why am I here? Adrian looked at the blade. Because the man who entered your room carried a silver token. Lily stopped. A crescent. Adrian's eyes lifted. Another mistake. She closed her eyes briefly. He reached into his coat and placed the token beside the knife. A silver crescent crossed by 2 narrow lines. Not the Wraith's mark. Hunter Guild. Old Northern Division. Lily had not seen one since no. She pushed the memory away. Does it mean something? Adrian asked. No, another lie. You seem very confident for someone asking questions. I'm not asking anymore. That frightened her. Adrian rose and walked toward the shelves behind him. He removed a weathered ledger. My father kept reports from the northern border. Lily's fingers went cold. 6 years ago, villages began reporting attacks by rogue wolves. Adrian opened the book. Then the attacks stopped. Lily stared at the rain. Perhaps your soldiers handled them. They didn't. He turned a page. Something else did. She knew what came next. Witnesses described a hunter. Lily said nothing. No banner. No pack colors. No demand for payment. Adrian's voice remained calm. Sometimes villagers found missing children returned before dawn. Sometimes livestock thieves woke tied to trees. Despite herself, Lily remembered an old farmer laughing when he discovered 3 thieves hanging upside down from a branch. She had been 18. She had laughed too. Before Garrett taught her that hunting could become something uglier. Adrian continued. The stories gave this hunter a name. Don't. Silver Wraith. The fire cracked. Lily looked at him. That sounds like a children's story. Most legends do. Do you believe legends? Rarely. Adrian closed the ledger. I believe patterns. He returned to the table. The Silver Wraith disappeared 2 years ago. Lily's heartbeat sounded too loud. Garrett Cole took guardianship of you 2 years ago. Silence. The Wraith's last known hunt occurred near Cole territory. Lily stood very still. And now an assassin crosses my walls to reach my bride. Adrian glanced at the token. An assassin who calls her Garrett's hunter. Lily looked toward the door. 12 steps. Adrian noticed. You're counting. Her eyes snapped back. The distance to the door. I was not. 14 if you go around the table. Damn him. Adrian picked up the hunting blade. Lily's body reacted before thought. Her attention shifted to his fingers. Wrong grip. Not dangerous. But wrong. Adrian saw that too. He deliberately moved his thumb higher. Lily almost corrected him. Almost. His eyes narrowed. Then he extended the weapon handle first. Take it. No, one word. Too sharp. Adrian lowered the blade slightly. Why? I don't want it. You haven't touched it. I don't need to. Because you already know how it feels? Lily's throat tightened. No, Adrian waited. She hated that about him. Garrett shouted. Threatened. Punished. Adrian simply left silence open until her lies became too loud inside it. Lily stepped backward. I said I don't want it. Something changed in his face. He immediately placed the weapon down. All right. She stared at him. That's it. That's it. You're not ordering me? No, why? Because you said no. The simplicity of the answer unsettled her more than suspicion. Lily looked at the blade. Memories pressed closer. Cold forests. Moonlight on snow. A child sleeping against her shoulder as she carried him home. Then Garrett. A parchment pushed across a table. Find him. Another. Track her. Another. Don't return without proof. The Silver Wraith had once protected people. Garrett had turned the name into something Lily could barely stand to remember. Adrian's voice softened. Who taught you? She looked up. What? To survive. Not hunt. Not kill. Survive. Lily swallowed. My father taught me some things. Your mother taught herbs. Yes. Your father taught weapons. Yes. And Garrett. Her expression betrayed her. Only for a second. Adrian saw. Lily turned toward the window. Garrett taught me that people become kinder when they want something. The words escaped before she could stop them. Silence. She immediately regretted saying them. Adrian did not. He studied her reflection in the rain-darkened glass. Is that what you think I'm doing? Lily looked back. Aren't you? No, you want the truth. Yes. That means you want something. I want to understand why someone tried to kill you inside my castle. And after you understand? Adrian paused. Lily knew that pause. Calculation. What can she do? How useful could she become? She had seen it in Garrett's eyes the first time he discovered she could follow a trail across frozen stone. Lily's voice became quieter. If you discover that I'm useful, Your Majesty, you may find yourself disappointed. Adrian's brows lowered. Why? Because I'm done being useful. There. Too much truth. Lily turned toward the door. Adrian did not stop her. Her fingers reached the handle. Lillian. She froze. I don't need another weapon. Her chest tightened. Behind her, Adrian continued. I have an armory full of them. Slowly, Lily looked over her shoulder. His expression held no amusement now. If you're hiding because someone taught you that skill makes you property, then whoever taught you that was wrong. For one dangerous heartbeat, hope moved inside her. Lily killed it immediately. Hope had gotten people hurt before. You don't know anything about me. No, Adrian glanced at the hunting blade. But I intend to learn. Lily opened the door. She walked into the corridor without looking back. Only when the study disappeared behind her did she allow herself to breathe. Inside, Adrian remained beside the table. He picked up the Silver Wraith's blade, then noticed something he had missed. A tiny indentation beneath the leather wrap. Not damage. Letters. Someone had carved words beneath it. He could remove the leather. Read them. Perhaps learn more. Adrian considered it, then set the blade down untouched. Whatever secret lived beneath that leather belonged to the person who had carried it. And for the first time since Lily entered Blackwood Castle, Adrian understood that discovering who she was would be easy compared with convincing her that he had no intention of owning what he found. Don't let the king pass through that gate. Lily said it before she remembered she was supposed to know nothing about assassinations. Captain Daniel Reed stopped beside her. What? The royal procession crowded Blackwood Castle's lower courtyard beneath a pale winter sun. Horses stamped against frozen stone. Merchants waited beyond the outer walls. Guards checked wagons while villagers gathered along the road to see their king depart for the midwinter council. Adrian stood 20 yards away, speaking with two commanders. Lily stared beyond him. At the gate. Something was wrong. She had noticed it 3 minutes earlier. A vegetable cart stood beside the eastern wall. Normal. One wheel was broken. Possible. The driver kept touching his collar. Nervous. Still possible. Then Lily saw the rooftops. 3 patches of snow had been disturbed above the gatehouse. Not melted. Compressed. Someone had crawled across them. Her gaze dropped. The vegetable cart blocked the guard's clean view of the northern roof. The broken wheel was not an accident. It was cover. Daniel followed her stare. Lady Blackwood? Lily forced herself to smile. The gate seems crowded. His expression became puzzled. That's why you want the king stopped? I dislike crowds. Daniel stared at her. Lily hated intelligent men. Blackwood seemed unfortunately full of them. Across the courtyard, Adrian turned. His eyes found her immediately. Of course they did. Lily looked away. She needed to change the route without revealing why. A little girl stood beside her mother near the procession, holding a wooden wolf carved from pine. Lily approached. That's beautiful. The child smiled. My brother made it. May I see? The girl offered it. Lily deliberately let the carving fall. It rolled beneath a supply wagon. Oh. The girl darted after it. Wait. Lily caught her shoulder. Then looked toward a nearby guard. Could you help her? The guard knelt and moved toward the wagon. Exactly where Lily needed him. He bent down. Then stopped. What is that? A thin cord ran beneath the wagon. His hand followed it toward the gate. His expression changed. Captain. Daniel crossed quickly. Lily stepped backward. The cord disappeared beneath the vegetable cart. Daniel drew his sword. Clear the courtyard. Voices rose. The cart driver ran. He made 6 steps. A Blackwood guard tackled him. Adrian was already moving toward Lily. What happened? Daniel lifted the cord. Trigger line. Adrian's face hardened. For what? Lily knew. She could see the anchor point above the gate. But she remained silent. Daniel followed the cord behind a stone pillar. Crossbow mechanism. Guards looked upward. One shouted. Movement exploded across the roof. A figure rose behind the battlements. Bow. Lily's pulse stopped. The archer aimed at Adrian. Too far. No weapon. No time. She stepped directly into Adrian's path. His hand caught her arm. What are you? The arrow struck the stone where his chest had been. Chaos erupted. Roof. Daniel shouted. Blackwood archers responded. The assassin disappeared behind the battlements. Adrian pulled Lily behind a stone column. His body shielded hers. She almost laughed at the absurdity. He was protecting the woman who had just moved him out of an arrow's path. His silver-gray eyes searched her face. Did you see him? Lily shook her head. No, Adrian looked at the arrow buried in stone. Then at her. Of course. Guards secured the courtyard. The vegetable cart was searched. Inside were 2 concealed crossbows positioned toward the gate. The plan became obvious. The royal party would pass beneath the arch. The cord would trigger the first volley. Archers above would finish whatever remained. A kill zone. Simple. Efficient. Lily hated that she admired the construction. Daniel approached. The procession is cancelled. Adrian looked toward the gate. No, Your Majesty, they want us frightened inside our own walls. They nearly killed you. They nearly tried. Daniel looked irritated. Lily understood the feeling. Adrian turned toward her. What? She blinked. I said nothing. You made a face. I have a face. That particular one means you think I'm being stupid. Daniel coughed suspiciously. Lily glanced toward the courtyard. You should change the route. Adrian became still. Why? Because whoever planned this expected the eastern gate. Because a second team would likely be waiting along the obvious emergency route. Because assassins planned for panic. Lily chose carefully. The western road is prettier. Daniel stared at her. Adrian almost smiled. Is it? Much. Interesting. He looked toward Daniel. Prepare the western route. Lily's head snapped toward him. You're listening to me? You've had remarkable luck since arriving. She narrowed her eyes. 30 minutes later, the procession departed through the western service gate. Nothing happened. For the first mile. Then Lily noticed birds rising from the southern trees. Too many. She rode closer to Adrian. Slow down. He did. No question. That frightened her more than resistance. Ahead, a Blackwood scout emerged from the forest. Your Majesty. He looked shaken. We found 8 armed men along the southern road. Daniel looked at Adrian. Adrian looked at Lily. She stared forward. Beautiful western road. His voice was dry. I mentioned that. That evening, Adrian returned to his study. A map covered the table. Daniel stood opposite him. The cart. The child. The guard. Adrian nodded. The changed route. The ambush avoided. Daniel exhaled. She knew. Yes. You think she planned all of that? Adrian looked toward the rain-darkened window. No, Daniel frowned. No, she improvised. That was worse. Adrian moved 3 wooden markers across the map. She saw the kill zone before my guards did. Instead of announcing it, she created a reason for someone else to discover the trigger. Why? Adrian already knew. Because competence frightened her more than danger. Because Lily Harper would rather step in front of an arrow than admit she knew where it was coming from. Daniel touched the map. Do you still think she's the Silver Wraith? Adrian remembered the hunting blade. The assassin. The way Lily watched doors. I think I've been asking the wrong question. What question should you be asking? Adrian looked toward the corridor where Lily had disappeared hours earlier. Not whether she's a hunter. He remembered what she had said. I'm done being useful. His expression darkened. I want to know who taught her that being one was something she had to survive. Elsewhere in the castle, Lily stood alone beside her bedroom window. Her hands were shaking now. Not during the attack. Never during. Only afterward. She pressed them against the cold stone until they steadied. She had nearly exposed herself. Again. Tomorrow she would be more careful. Tomorrow she would remember to be harmless. Below, Blackwood guards crossed the courtyard she had unknowingly saved from becoming a graveyard. Lily closed her eyes. She had not drawn a weapon. Had not touched the assassin. Had not become Silver Wraith. That should have comforted her. It did not. Because somewhere inside Blackwood Castle, the Wolf King was finally beginning to understand the secret Lily feared more than her hidden name. The most dangerous thing about his new bride was not that she knew how to kill. It was that she could see death coming and quietly move everyone she cared about out of its way. If I tell you to run tonight, don't ask why. Adrian stopped walking. Lily immediately wished she had chosen different words. They stood beneath the covered western passage of Blackwood Castle while evening rain whispered beyond the arches. Servants crossed the courtyard carrying lanterns for tomorrow's wedding feast, and somewhere below, musicians rehearsed badly enough that even Lily could hear the violinist losing patience. Adrian studied her. That sounds concerning. It should. What happens tonight? I don't know. Comforting. Lily glanced toward the courtyard. 3 new servants had arrived that afternoon. 2 claimed to come from Eastmere. Their boots carried red clay. Eastmere had limestone roads. The 3rd servant wore a cook's apron, but had calluses along the web between thumb and forefinger. Sword hand. Then there were the candles. 6 crates delivered for the wedding. Only 5 reached storage. Small things. Meaningless separately. Together, they formed the beginning of something Lily remembered too well. A trap did not announce itself. It accumulated. Adrian stepped closer. What did you see? Lily almost lied. Then remembered the arrow striking stone where his chest had been. People who don't belong here. His expression changed. Where? I'm not sure yet. That isn't like you. Her eyes narrowed. You don't know what I'm like. I know you dislike chairs without walls behind them. Despite herself, Lily nearly smiled. Adrian continued. You know poison. Weapons. Ambushes. You notice people my guards miss. The smile vanished. And I'm done pretending those things are coincidences. Lily looked away. Here it was. The moment she had been avoiding. Adrian lowered his voice. I don't care what Garrett called you. Her gaze snapped back. I care that someone is trying to kill you. Someone tried to kill you too. Yes. That should concern you more. It does. Then cancel tomorrow. The wedding. The ceremony. Feast. Procession. Everything. Adrian studied her. You think the attack is connected to it? I think whoever failed at the gate learned something. What? Lily looked toward the guards below. That I can see them coming. Silence. She had said too much. Adrian did not react immediately. That made it worse. Finally you. Lily's pulse quickened. They weren't only trying to kill me. No, you were part of the plan. Maybe? Adrian's eyes hardened. Lillian. She exhaled. They wanted you dead at the eastern gate. But the assassin came to my room first. The same conspiracy? I think so. Garrett. Lily hesitated. Adrian saw it. What did he do? Nothing I can prove. That wasn't my question. She hated when he did that. Before she could answer, Daniel entered the passage carrying folded parchment. Your Majesty. He stopped when he saw Lily. Adrian held out his hand. Daniel passed him the document. We searched the captured cart driver's quarters. Adrian unfolded it. Lily watched his face. Something changed. He handed her the parchment. She did not take it. What? Read. Lily reluctantly accepted it. A list. Names. Guard rotations. Gate schedules. Kitchen deliveries. Tomorrow's ceremonial route. Her stomach tightened. At the bottom was a symbol. Silver crescent. 2 lines. The same mark carried by the assassin. But one detail mattered more. Beside Adrian's name, King falls before vows. Beside hers, bride survives until accusation. Lily went cold. They don't want me dead. Daniel frowned. The assassin suggests otherwise. No, Lily read the page again. He was supposed to frighten me. Adrian's expression sharpened. Or silence you if you knew too much. Yes. Daniel pointed to the final line. Accusation of what? Lily already knew. She wished she did not. Murder. Adrian became very still. They kill you tomorrow, she said. I survive. Foreign bride. Former Cole territory. Unknown past. Daniel swore softly. They blame her. Lily nodded. And Blackwood retaliates against Garrett. Adrian looked at her. War. Yes. Everything suddenly aligned. The exchange. Garrett's eagerness. The assassin. The gate. The hunter token. Lily felt sick. Garrett had not simply wanted her gone. He had wanted her placed here. Exactly here. Adrian watched understanding cross her face. You know something. Lily folded the parchment. Garrett profits from war. How? Border contracts. Iron. Grain. Mercenaries. Daniel's expression darkened. That would require allies inside Blackwood. Yes. Adrian turned toward him. Lock the castle. No, both men looked at Lily. She pointed toward the parchment. They expect that. Daniel frowned. So whoever is inside will know we discovered the plan. Adrian understood first. And disappear. Yes. Rain blew through the arches. Lily's mind became quiet. That old, terrible quiet. Entrances. Schedules. Distances. Human behavior reduced to patterns. She hated how natural it felt. We let tomorrow happen. Daniel stared at her. The wedding. The appearance of it. Adrian's eyes remained on Lily. Explain. We change nothing they can see. She walked toward the courtyard railing. Guards remain visible. Guests arrive. Music continues. But civilians leave the central hall before the vows. How? Kitchen smoke. Daniel blinked. What? A harmless chimney problem. Move guests temporarily to the garden gallery. Adrian almost smiled. You've done this before. Lily's expression closed. Something similar. Daniel asked, and the conspirators? They'll think their window is closing. So they move early. Yes. Adrian looked at her. And we catch them. Lily nodded. Then she noticed something below. A servant carrying lantern oil. Same sword hand callus. He looked up. Their eyes met. Recognition flashed across his face. He ran. Daniel. The captain saw him. Guards moved. The servant threw down the oil and disappeared through the lower passage. Lily's blood chilled. Not because he escaped. Because she knew where that passage led. The old western tunnels. Straight beneath the great hall. She turned toward Adrian. They're already inside. A bell rang somewhere deep within the castle. Once. Then twice. Not an alarm. A signal. Lily knew signals. Adrian drew his sword. Daniel shouted orders. Footsteps erupted below. The wedding attack had begun a night early. Lily caught Adrian's arm before he moved. He looked at her hand. Then her face. Her voice dropped. "Remember what I said? If you tell me to run." "Yes." Adrian's silver gray eyes held hers. "And I told you I'd ask later." For the first time, Lily realized he had never actually promised to run. "Adrian." The torches in the courtyard went dark. One after another. Blackness climbed toward them. Then came the sound of the castle gates slamming shut. Lily released him. From somewhere beneath the great hall, steel scraped against stone. A hidden door opening. She had spent 2 years burying Silver Wraith. Tonight, someone had built a trap large enough that hiding might finally cost more lives than being discovered. Lily looked into the darkness and knew the woman she had tried so desperately to kill inside herself was about to start hunting again. The bride ran. The accusation traveled through Blackwood Castle faster than the alarm bells. Adrian heard it from a guard while descending the western stairs. He stopped. "What?" "We can't find Lady Lillian, Your Majesty." Below them, darkness swallowed the courtyard. Only scattered lanterns remained, their flames trembling beneath cold rain. Somewhere beyond the walls, men shouted as Blackwood soldiers fought to reopen the sealed gates. Daniel appeared from the lower passage. Someone cut the bell ropes and barred the northern doors from inside. Adrian drew his sword. "Lillian?" Daniel hesitated. "Missing." A crash echoed from the great hall. Then screaming. Adrian ran. He entered through the eastern gallery and found chaos. Wedding decorations still hung from the rafters. White ribbons. Winter roses. Silver candles. Beneath them, armed men wearing stolen Blackwood uniforms poured from the hidden western passage. Guests scattered. Guards formed a defensive line. "Get the civilians out," Adrian shouted. "There's nowhere to go," Daniel answered. "The main doors are chained." Then a side door opened. Nobody stood beside it. A group of servants stared. "Move," Daniel shouted. They ran through. Adrian looked at the doorway. That passage led to the old chapel. From there, another corridor reached the outer kitchens. Someone had unlocked it. Someone who knew the castle. Or someone who had spent days memorizing exits. Lillian. Another attacker rushed him. Adrian blocked the sword and drove the man backward. "Where is she?" The attacker smiled. "Your bride." Adrian struck his weapon away. "She abandoned you." Adrian's wolf surged beneath his skin. Gold flashed through his vision. The man's smile disappeared. Daniel grabbed Adrian's shoulder. "King." More enemies entered. Too many. Adrian forced his wolf down. "Not yet." Across the hall, another door opened. 3 children and an elderly noble escaped through it. Again, nobody appeared responsible. Adrian understood. She didn't run. Daniel followed his gaze. "What?" A lantern went dark above them. Then another. The shadows shifted. An attacker near the staircase suddenly stumbled as his ankle caught a decorative cord stretched between 2 pillars. He fell. Before he could rise, his sword disappeared into the darkness. A second man turned. The stolen sword struck his weapon aside. He was shoved into a wooden table. The blade vanished again. Daniel stared. "What in God's name?" Adrian almost smiled. "She's hunting." Upstairs, Lily moved silently through the gallery. Her wedding dress was gone. She had abandoned it in her chamber after realizing the long skirt would slow her. Now she wore a simple dark wool gown, leather boots, and a cloak tied tightly at her waist. No armor. No proper weapon. That was fine. Weapons were everywhere if someone knew where to look. Curtain cords. Fireplace irons. Broken chair legs. Doors. Stairs. Fear. Especially fear. Lily watched 2 conspirators approach the servants' corridor. One carried a sword. The other had a crossbow. She counted their steps. 3, 2, 1. She dropped a brass candle holder from the gallery. It crashed behind them. Both men turned. Lily descended the opposite stairs. She caught the crossbowman's arm before he could raise the weapon, redirected it toward the floor, and drove her shoulder into his chest. He stumbled into his companion. Lily took the crossbow. Did not fire. She removed the bolt, dropped the weapon. The swordsman recovered. You! Lily froze. He recognized her. His face changed. Not surprise. Fear. Silver, Lily struck the hilt from his hand before he finished. Don't. He stared at her. Garrett said you were finished. Her blood went cold. Where is he? The man smiled. Waiting for the king to die. Lily heard footsteps. She disappeared through the servants' corridor before reinforcements arrived. Below, rumors were already spreading. The Four and Omega opened the western tunnels. She let them inside. She disappeared before the attack. Cole's bride betrayed Blackwood. Exactly as planned. Lily reached the old chapel. Dozens of civilians crowded inside. Margaret stood among them. When she saw Lily, relief crossed her face. My lady, take everyone through the kitchen passage. The gate there is locked. Not anymore. Margaret stared at her. Lily had opened it 10 minutes earlier. Go. A child grabbed Lily's hand. Are you coming? The question hurt unexpectedly. Lily crouched. Soon. You promise. She looked toward the great hall. Steel rang beyond the walls. Adrian was still there. Yes. The child released her. Lily watched them leave. Then turned back. Every instinct told her to disappear with them. She could leave Blackwood tonight. Garrett would assume she died. Adrian would survive or he would not. None of it would belong to her anymore. Freedom waited 20 steps away. Lily stared down the empty kitchen passage. Then remembered Adrian placing the hunting blade on the table. Take it. No. All right. Because you said no. She remembered the cloak around her shoulders. The Western Road. His willingness to trust her warning without demanding proof. Damn him. Lily turned away from Freedom. She ran toward the fighting. In the great hall, Daniel's defensive line was collapsing. Adrian stood near the throne steps. 7 attackers remained between him and the eastern corridor. More were entering from below. Then every remaining chandelier went dark. The hall fell almost completely black. Someone whispered from the enemy line. What happened? A man screamed. Not in pain. In surprise. His sword struck the floor. Another weapon disappeared. Then another. A shadow moved behind the pillars. Fast. Controlled. Never where anyone expected. One attacker backed toward the door. No, his voice shook. I know this. Daniel looked toward Adrian. Know what? The man stared into the darkness. The border stories. A figure stepped beneath the moonlight spilling through the high windows. Honey blonde hair. Dark cloak. A stolen sword held loosely at her side. Lily. Adrian forgot the battle for one heartbeat. Not because she carried a weapon. Because she no longer looked afraid of being seen with it. The attacker went pale. Silver Wraith. Silence swallowed the hall. Lily's eyes closed briefly. The name was out. No taking it back now. When she opened them, she looked directly at Adrian. He finally knew. The harmless bride. The woman who recognized poison. The woman who watched exits. The woman who dismantled ambushes without drawing steel. All of it stood before him. Lily waited for horror. Calculation. Hunger for usefulness. Instead, Adrian tightened his grip on his sword and stepped toward her. Are you hurt? The question nearly broke her. No, good. He turned toward the remaining attackers. Gold entered his eyes. Because I'm going to need my wife alive long enough to explain why she keeps lying about furniture. Lily stared at him. Then, against every reasonable instinct, she laughed. A blade flashed from the darkness. Her smile vanished. She stepped beside the Wolf King. Not behind him. Not in front. Beside. Across the hall, the conspirators began retreating. And for the first time that night, Lily understood why. They had planned for a Wolf King surrounded by enemies. They had planned for a helpless foreign bride everyone would blame. They had planned for darkness, panic, locked gates, and frightened civilians. They had planned for everything. Except the moment the bride stopped hiding. You were never supposed to survive long enough to become his wife. Garrett Cole stepped from behind the throne. For one heartbeat, Lily forgot every person still fighting around her. The great hall burned with scattered candlelight and overturned braziers. Rain struck the high windows. Broken wedding decorations hung from the rafters while Blackwood guards held the eastern doors, and the remaining conspirators gathered around Garrett. He should not have been there. He had left Greyhaven days ago. Lily understood. You planned all of it. Garrett smiled. Finally. Adrian moved beside her. His sword remained raised. His eyes burned gold. You entered my castle under a peace treaty. Garrett looked almost amused. I entered through tunnels your own people sold me. Daniel's face hardened. Names. You'll have plenty of time for questions if you live. Men emerged from behind the pillars. 8. Then 4 more from the western stairs. Lily counted automatically. 12 visible. Probably more below. Garrett watched her doing it. His smile widened. There she is. Lily's fingers tightened around the stolen sword. Don't. The Silver Wraith. The name moved through the hall. Blackwood warriors looked toward her. Garrett spread his hands. Your gentle little bride has been lying to you, Wolf King. Adrian did not look at Lily. I noticed. Garrett's smile faltered. Lily almost laughed. Almost. She's killed rogues stronger than your captains, Garrett continued. Tracked men through storms. Crossed mountains alone. She can tell how many soldiers passed a road hours after the tracks disappear. Adrian finally glanced at Lily. Useful. The word hit her like a blow. Garrett saw it. Of course he did. That's what she is. Lily's breath shortened. Garrett stepped closer. A weapon. The hall disappeared. For a moment, Lily was 18 again. Garrett standing over a map. Find them. 19. A name written on parchment. Follow him. 20. A frightened man kneeling in snow. Finish it. She had refused. The punishment lasted longer than the memory. Adrian's voice brought her back. Lillian. She looked at him. He had lowered his sword slightly. Not because the danger had passed. Because he was watching her. Stay with me. Not behind me. Not obey me. Stay. Lily breathed. Then one conspirator attacked. Everything moved. Adrian met the first 2 with overwhelming force. Lily moved differently. She stepped backward. Observed. The western staircase narrowed between 2 stone pillars. 3 men approached through it. 2 close together. Lily kicked an overturned bench into their path. The first stumbled. The second collided with him. Daniel's guards closed from the side. 3 enemies removed without Lily striking anyone. Another came from her right. Heavy sword. Overcommit swing. She ducked. Turned. Used his wrist against him. The sword hit the floor. Lily kicked it toward Daniel. Thank you, he called. You're welcome. Adrian blocked another attack. You're having conversations? I'm multitasking. Despite everything, he smiled. Garrett did not. Stop playing with them, he shouted. His remaining men rushed forward. Lily looked up. Wedding banners. Iron chains. The chandeliers. She remembered studying the hall on her first night. Entrances. Distances. Weak points. Things harmless brides were not supposed to notice. Adrian. He looked at her. 3 steps left. He moved immediately. No question. Lily cut the rope beside the western pillar. A heavy wedding banner dropped across 4 advancing men, tangling weapons and blocking their sight. Blackwood guards surged forward. The balance shifted. Garrett stepped backward. No, Lily heard the fear. Good. She crossed the hall. 2 men tried to intercept. Adrian appeared beside her. One moved toward Lily. Adrian stopped him. The other attacked Adrian. Lily redirected his blade. They moved together without planning it. Power and precision. Wolf and hunter. Adrian broke openings. Lily saw them. Lily changed angles. Adrian followed. Within moments, Garrett stood alone near the throne. His surviving men lowered their weapons. Daniel's soldiers surrounded them. Garrett stared at Lily. You could have ruled armies. I never wanted armies. You could have been feared. I was. Then what did you want? The question surprised her. For years, nobody had asked. Lily lowered the sword. Peace. Garrett laughed. People like you don't get peace. He drew a concealed dagger. Adrian moved. Lily was faster. She caught Garrett's wrist. turned. The dagger fell. Garrett dropped to one knee. Lily stood behind him with his arm controlled. She could break it. Easily. He knew. Do it, Garrett whispered. Lily's breathing slowed. Prove what you are. There it was. The final command. Become the weapon. Lily released him. Garrett stumbled forward in disbelief. Daniel seized him. You should have killed me. Lily looked at him. No, her voice was quiet. That's what you trained me to do. She placed the stolen sword on the floor. This is what I choose. Garrett stared as guards dragged him away. The hall slowly became silent. Lily suddenly felt every eye. Blackwood nobles. Soldiers. Servants. Adrian. They knew now. No disguise remained. Her hands began trembling. There it was. Afterward. Always afterward. She looked toward the nearest exit. Adrian noticed. He approached carefully. Lily stepped backward. Don't. He stopped immediately. The gesture hurt more than if he had ignored her. She swallowed. You know. Yes. You know what I can do. Yes. Her voice became smaller. And now? Adrian frowned. Now what? Lily almost hated him for making her say it. What do you want me to hunt? Silence. Adrian's expression changed. Not calculation. Something closer to anger. But not at her. Nothing. Lily stared. You don't mean that. I do. You have enemies. I'm a king. It would be suspicious if I didn't. You could use me. Adrian went completely still. Lily immediately regretted the words. Then he understood. Not the Silver Wraith. Her. The reason she had hidden. The reason she apologized whenever competence escaped. The reason useful sounded like a threat. Garrett had not merely trained a hunter. He had taught a young woman that every talent she possessed created another chain someone could fasten around her. Adrian looked toward the sword on the floor. Then back at Lily. If you ever pick up a weapon for Blackwood, he said quietly, it will be because you chose to. Her throat tightened. And if I never do? Then never do. She searched his face. Even if you need me? I may ask. Lily stiffened. Adrian continued. And you may say no. Something inside her cracked. Not loudly. Not painfully. Like winter ice surrendering beneath the first warmth of spring. Adrian extended his hand. He did not touch her. Come with me. Lily stared at his palm. Where? Somewhere without people staring at you. A laugh almost escaped her. Instead, her eyes burned. She placed her hand in his. His fingers closed gently. Around them, Blackwood soldiers lowered their weapons. No one bowed to Silver Wraith. No one cheered for the deadly hunter. Adrian simply led Lily away from the battlefield. And that frightened her more than the fighting had. Because Garrett had spent years teaching Lily that people only kept dangerous things while those things remained useful. Tonight, Adrian Blackwood had seen exactly what his bride could become with a weapon in her hand. And the Wolf King's first instinct had not been to ask her to kill for him. It had been to ask whether she wanted to stop. What will you make me hunt? Lily asked the question again the next morning. Adrian looked up from the hunting blade resting between them. Sunlight entered his private study for the first time in 3 days, turning the rain-washed windows gold. Beyond them, Blackwood Castle was already repairing the damage from the attack. Hammers echoed through the courtyard. Guards changed shifts. Somewhere below, servants were removing ruined wedding decorations from the Great Hall. Garrett Cole sat imprisoned beneath the Eastern Tower. His conspiracy had failed. And Lily still felt trapped. Nothing, Adrian said. She remained standing. You said that last night. I remember. I thought you might reconsider. I didn't. Lily stared at him. The Silver Wraith's blade lay on the table. Adrian had recovered it from his study after the fighting ended. He pushed it toward her. Lily did not touch it. You know what I am now. Yes. You know what I can do. Yes. You know Garrett's border routes. His hidden camps. His contacts. Adrian leaned back. I know. You could destroy everything he built. Yes. With me. Adrian's expression hardened. Probably. Lily's stomach dropped. There. Finally. Truth. Then Adrian continued. But I won't. She blinked. Why? Because Garrett spent years deciding what your abilities were worth to him. Adrian looked at the blade. I'm not interested in becoming a better version of Garrett Cole. Silence filled the study. Lily folded her arms. What if Blackwood needs me? Blackwood needs farmers, healers, soldiers, masons, cooks, scouts. His eyes returned to hers. Blackwood does not need slaves. I'm not a slave. No, Adrian's voice softened. But you keep asking me for permission to stop behaving like one. The words landed painfully. Lily looked away. Outside, 2 workers carried broken timber across the courtyard. I don't know how to do this. What? Choose. Adrian said nothing. Lily laughed once, without humor. That sounds ridiculous. No, it should be easy. Not if people punished you for choosing incorrectly. Her throat tightened. Adrian stood. He came around the table, but stopped several feet away. Always enough distance. Always enough room for her to leave. Garrett had filled rooms differently. Garrett made exits feel decorative. Adrian made them feel available. A knock interrupted them. Daniel entered. Your Majesty. The council is assembled. Lily stiffened. Adrian noticed. You don't have to attend. They're discussing Garrett. And you. There it was. Lily looked toward the blade. No more hiding. Adrian nodded. No more hiding. She picked it up. The weight settled into her palm like an old memory. For once, she did not apologize for knowing how to hold it. The great hall had been cleaned but not repaired. One shattered table remained against the wall. Sword marks scarred a pillar. The fallen wedding banners had been removed. Nobles filled both sides of the chamber. Blackwood soldiers stood behind them. Garrett waited in chains before the throne. When Lily entered beside Adrian, whispers spread. Silver Wraith. Hunter. Bride. Weapon. Lily heard every word. Her fingers tightened around the knife. Garrett smiled. There she is. Adrian took his place before the throne. Lily remained beside him. Garrett looked around. Ask her. Nobody spoke. Ask your precious bride how many men she hunted for me. Lily felt every eye turn. Garrett continued. Ask her what she really is. Adrian's voice was cold. We know what you are. Garrett's smile faded. Daniel stepped forward carrying documents recovered from the conspirators. Names. Payments. Routes. Orders. Enough evidence to expose Garrett's plan before every witness in the hall. He had financed the attack. Placed men inside Blackwood. Planned Adrian's death. Planned Lily's survival. Planned the accusation. Planned the war. Garrett listened until Daniel finished. Then he laughed. You still need her. Adrian's expression did not change. She knows my territory, Garrett said. My safe houses. My men. He turned toward Lily. Tell him. Lily said nothing. You could hunt every last one. Her heartbeat accelerated. Old command. Old cage. Garrett smiled because he saw the reaction. You were made for this. Lily looked down at the hunting blade. For years she had believed the weapon represented everything stolen from her. Then she remembered something older. A missing child carried home through snow. A village sleeping safely. A frightened family finding their stolen horses returned. Before Garrett, hunting had not been cruelty. It had been protection. The blade had never chosen what she became. Garrett had tried, but he had failed. Lily walked toward the council table. She placed the knife down. I wasn't made for you. Garrett's smile vanished. She looked at Adrian. And I wasn't made for him. The hall became silent. Adrian nodded once. No, Lily turned toward the gathered nobles. My name is Lillian Harper. Her voice trembled. She continued anyway. Some of you know another name. Nobody moved. Silver Wraith. The words no longer hurt as much. I hunted because once I believed protecting people was something worth doing. Garrett turned that skill into obedience. She looked directly at him. He does not get to decide what it means anymore. Garrett stepped forward. His chains stopped him. You belong to Cole territory. No, you were exchanged under treaty. Lily looked toward Adrian. This was the moment. The final test. Adrian descended from the throne. Garrett smiled triumphantly. Tell her. Adrian stopped beside Lily, then faced the entire hall. The treaty established peace between territories. His voice carried through the chamber. It did not establish ownership of a human being. Garrett's face changed. Adrian looked at Lily. Lillian Harper. Not Silver Wraith. Not Omega. Not weapon. Blackwood offers you sanctuary for as long as you want it. Lily swallowed. And the marriage? Adrian's eyes held hers. If you want it. Gasps moved through the hall. If I don't, then you remain free. Lily stared at him. And if I leave? I'll have a horse prepared. Her eyes burned. And if I stay? Something warmer entered Adrian's expression. Then I suppose we'll eventually need another wedding. A small laugh escaped her. Adrian extended his hand. My wife, he said quietly, if you still choose to be. Lily looked at his open palm. Garrett had always closed his hand around her. Adrian opened his. That difference contained an entire world. Lily placed her hand in his. I choose. Adrian's fingers closed gently. Around them, Blackwood warriors lowered their heads. Not because Silver Wraith commanded fear. Because Lillian Harper had finally spoken for herself. Later, when the hall emptied, Lily returned to the council table. Her hunting blade remained there. Adrian waited near the doorway. You forgot something. Lily picked it up. No, she fastened the sheath at her belt. Adrian raised an eyebrow. I thought you were done being useful. Lily smiled. I'm done letting other people decide what I'm useful for. She walked toward him. Outside, sunlight spread across the mountains. For the first time in years, Lily did not scan the horizon for somewhere to escape. She simply looked at it. There were roads beyond Blackwood. Forests, villages. Choices. Perhaps one day she would hunt again. Perhaps she would never hunt at all. The decision belonged to her. Adrian opened the door. Lily stepped through first. And the woman who had entered Blackwood Castle as an exchanged bride walked into the morning neither as Garrett Cole's weapon nor as the Wolf King's possession. She walked beside Adrian because she had chosen him. And for Lillian Harper, that choice was the first truly dangerous thing she had ever done, because hunting monsters had always been easier than believing she deserved to be loved without proving herself useful first.